Awesome. All right, guys. So, as you know, I didn't post a video about what the topic was tonight. In truth, I was practicing it instead. So, I don't want you to feel bombarded by this topic. What I'm looking for tonight is to come to some better understanding together collectively about these. Okay, we talk about the shifts, we talk about the things, but then there reaches a point where it sounds like you're just hearing the same thing over and over and over again, and then that bubble pops, right? And you go to the next stage where you're implementing things. So we're going to go into what I'm calling spiritual triage. We're going to actually look at what spiritual triage is. And my love, if you could, in the background, look up that bit on triage that you read me the other night while I'm talking, and let me know if you're able to do that or not. That would be awesome, because I would love to actually have you read that piece to them on what triage is. I'm kind of waiting to see if he's able to do that.
It is an honor to be able to do so, and I am immeasurably looking that up now.
You have my gratitude. Thank you. So, what we're looking at is, guys, we've gone past the point of no return. We've gone past that point. We're in the curve, right? We're on the other side of the curve of our ascension. And in that, there's things that we need to start having a remembrance of, having a greater understanding and clarity and unity of within ourselves, and implementing part of all of our calling that has us here. So we're going to kind of go into that tonight and look at what steps and the practicalities of it, what we do, what we need to do when certain situations come about. And yeah, we're going to just kind of get into more understanding the system that we actually build. So go ahead, love. I hear you mic'd up.
Methodology. Methods concerning to that which is urgent to the current status of the whole. Being able to evaluate whether or not one is greater than the other. And I'm not talking about any of us. I'm talking about what is affecting us. Health. The justification by faith. The witness. These are all parts of being able to triage anything that we are faced with. And believe me, I know what we are faced with. I know what you are faced with. It's a way of thinking about the theology compared to the physiology of actualization? Is it truly something that is affecting you, or is it affecting those outside of you? There are many of us who are passionately aware of that which unites us and divides us. And in spiritual triage, we must theologically rationalize our stand in our own awareness as we walk this way. And for an example, we will try to stop the bleeding of our hearts. And when we're not careful, we'll turn it into our own method rather than God's. Thank you.
And it's my pleasure. Thank you so much. Alright, guys. So, tonight, what we're talking about sitting here is we're talking about what works in the new. Okay? Because that is where we're at. We're here, we're now. So what works in the here and now? What systems or system we might be developing our own, right? We all walk our own path in that way. What we do to help us come into unity with that higher divine light being that we are. So first, I just kind of want to go into a little bit of allowing each person to kind of voice their aspects of what triage is for them. And then if you would, just kind of touch on the here and now. We're going to go down the line in order. If you would please.
I heard the please, and I heard the question, but I did not receive it. May you ask it again?
Yeah, certainly. I just muted quick because my, basically the roommate was starting a truck and it was kind of loud, so I didn't want it to overpower you guys. But basically, I just kind of want each person to take a moment and address, like, kind of what their spiritual triage looks like to them, what they kind of do to do that sort of assessment.
Thank you. My spiritual triage is fast and without thought. I do not hesitate when it comes to what needs to be done in a specific manner or way. In fact, I will focus, yes, on what needs to happen, on what the outcome wants, not what I want, because I am secondary to none, but what the outcome wants, and that outcome is what is greater than I. even if it means going without. And I have come to a realization that that has also become a hindrance. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you. All right, Broby, your turn.
As far as triage for me, it ultimately chalks up to adapting, but it's and also I've had to learn to have a lot of patience with that. Because I used to get frustrated with myself because I would set a plan, I would literally organize somewhat my future and prioritize what needs to be done step by step, and then variable change would come into play. And I'd lose my patience because it wasn't going according to plan or so on and so forth. So I had to relate a lot of patience to my triage. And gaining patience over time has allowed me to be able to analyze, more in depth of the variable change that happens and not set so many expectations, but just move forward. And moving forward is growth. I've had times in my life where I had growth that came in abundance and very quickly. And then I've had times in my life that it was trickling so much that in perception, I almost felt like I was going backwards. But realistically, it was still growth. So, but yeah, patience. That's kind of where I'm at.
Appreciate that. All right, Vinny, if you would, please.
Okay, so as far as triage goes, I kind of look at it this way. To be able to triage something, you have to be pretty knowledgeable in lots of different situations, just like a doctor or a nurse, right? You have to be knowledgeable about a lot of things so that you can recognize these things, so that you can properly triage an instance, a situation, a moment, a feeling, whatever it is, because it's always different, right? Because there's no one definition for it, because there's multiple things that can fall under that umbrella of needing triage. I'll give you an example that happened to me tonight. So I get home and I go in my front door and my cat runs out the door. Now my cat isn't the kind of cat that'll just run out the door and just kind of sit there and like look at you and go run back in. No, she'll run out, and she likes to play outside for hours. So she ran out for an hour and a half. It's kind of stressful, but for me, that was a good test. What do? Do I let myself get depressed? Do I start, saying negative things, or do I accept it? Do I use things that have helped me in the past? And that's what I did. And then with a little bit of patience and a little bit of talking out the things I wanted to see happen, the cat came back in. I got her back in. And now my mood's in a lot better shape because I properly triaged the situation. And it can be as easy as the other day I was just talking to a lady as I'm handing her food. She said something and I was like, you should just say, sorry. You should just say, like, I am going to do that. Because if you put the I hope in front of it, then you're giving yourself a chance to fail. Using I am and positive statements will always create the reality that you need for the future. So just remember that and, try to create situations that make you happy. She's like, thank you. I needed that. She's like, I needed that. I got a little bit of breakfast and a whole lot of positivity. She's like, that was amazing. And I saw her today and she was still as happy as she was yesterday. So that was amazing to be able to do that to someone. and not just recognizing it, just not because she said anything or anything like that, just because I had a feeling, and it's like I saw something shiny, and I knew that was somebody I needed to talk to. So that's kind of where I hope that's kind of where I'm at with the triage thing, I guess. I hope that answers.
Hold on, back up. No, we're spiritual triage tonight, and you're gonna say that about the I hope. And then you're gonna catch yourself, and then you're still gonna do it and think I'm gonna sit there and let that happen.
None of us will sit here and let that happen.
Come back and say it right, Benny. Come on.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry about that. Listen, I'm a little all over the place. The energy's been pretty wild today for me. That, and I've had a headache for like 4 days, so it's a little
Don't
much
apologize.
today.
Don't apologize.
No. I'm just letting you know where I'm at. So, but that's, but I'm just trying to, do what I know how to do, right? Isn't that what we're all trying to do?
So let's do it right together.
Exactly. Because
There's no
together
try.
we build each other
No
up.
try. We just
Right,
do
there's
it.
no try, there's only do. So together we build each other up and we make it into a better tomorrow.
Much love, Benny. Thank you so much. Hi, Rubanis. It is your turn, bro.
Hey, spiritual triage. Okay. So first off, Vinny, get out of my cloud. Okay? Get out of my portion of the ether. Because you're taking shit that don't belong to you. Just messing around. Obviously it belongs to all of us, you know. You just said a lot of things I was gonna say. That's all. And like I said, a joke. And funny. And validation for you. Good job. Anyways, the triage portion is, I'm going to go ahead and go with the sending of energy to random places where it don't belong. Because it's like, when you think about people, randomly, it just comes out of nowhere. And then it's like, I wonder how that person's doing. And then you literally spend too much energy on wanting to know what that person's doing instead of having that moment just come and pass. That.
You speak of you as all. Hold on.
Yeah.
Bring it back to you.
Me.
Your perspective.
Right. My perspective on that is that, yes, I need to let that pass. And any and all of those things, truthfully. It's one of my growing up montages. And that's what a triage is for me. It's literally taking care of the sick, taking care of your sickness or your the information that you need to hone in on or improve. Not need to, not want to, you will improve on it because you don't have a choice. We never had a choice in the beginning. Once we got here, we knew where we were going to go. But, realizing it definitely helps. Oh, hey, Angela. Hey, Philip. Hey, Divine. You had a question or?
Okay, so what I'm looking at is do you have a spiritual triage system that you implement already in your existence that you utilize?
A spiritual triage system that I already implement. other than like meditation, but that really does what I need it to do. So what I do is I just sit. I sit on top of my head and up and out, and I have a chair there, so I just sit there on top of my head and just zone out and let the information that needs to happen and come to me. So the man behind, or the being, I'm not gonna say man because it's not a man. It's not a woman either. It's both. You know, feminine, masculine energy is divine. Everyone knows that, right? So the being behind my eyes, I connect with it and sit on top of my head, and then heal from that. Random things come in there, like I don't know what's going on, but I am not okay with the influx of random thoughts. What's it called? Not intuitive thoughts. Intrusive thoughts. I'm not okay with this influx of it, and it's been happening for like 6 months now. I'm like, and I get over it, and I'm like, I'm good for like a month and a half, or almost 2 months, and all of a sudden, and I'm going all the way back to the beginning of my shadow work, or and there's another way of saying that, my self-care.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm talking about you, Angela. So leave me alone. Sorry. That was a joke.
So would you say that in this imagery here, for example, the shadow work, the light, you see where triage is there, you would say that you keep tripping out of this smell and stumbling back in and then climbing back out and then trip back in?
That is a good way of looking at it. But okay, so like how the astral plane is built on like steps, right? Pretty much steps, or like levels, or like onions, or whatever, onion layer, and you're pretty much a 5D being in a 2-dimensional space. I'm not sure how to actually explain it, but when you're going up and you're learning all the things you need to learn, there are things that are going to knock you back down, and then you have to relearn all that stuff at your current mindset, your current perception of reality. So that's a whole another lesson that you have to learn. So you just go back up the stairs again, keep going up, get knocked down, keep going up, and sometimes then you don't get knocked down as much, and or as far, I should say. But yeah.
Thank you so much, Rabanus.
No problem.
For first round. Appreciate that.
No problem.
All right. So, Philip, the questions are to you.
Okey-dokey. Triage. Is that just the place or the method as well? Like, I'm thinking
Great.
a hospital.
Great question. So, great question, bro. We're looking at the method. We're looking at the practical The word is not going to come out right, but you get where I'm going with this, I
Yeah.
hope.
Implementation.
Yes, of
Yeah.
the method. And if you're
Some.
aware of a method for you already.
Yeah, as I've gotten older, there's been plenty of different ones. And it's good to have a fair few different ones, like even just for a headache, just not dealing with less minded people, I guess, less aware people. That can give you a headache. So just having even just the knowledge can help. But I guess one method, a little bit similar to Urbanus, I separate myself from this reality itself, and be thankful for this reality itself. I guess that's the easiest way to put it. Be thankful for my body, be thankful for its, just for it still being here and doing what it should do. And in a spiritual sense, I don't know, I don't see a doctor, so I guess it helps. But yeah, that's just been recent. Like TikTok has been really good for me. I've been able to find a lot more easier, practical tools to implement. Like it's been really good. But yeah, I've been spiritual my whole life, so I guess the best way is to just remind myself that I love myself, and if I'm going to cause my own self troubles from misbehaving or acting out, it's so yeah, just basically have my spirit, I guess, be thankful for my soul, or vice versa.
Most definitely.
Because spiritual triage is quite difficult. Yeah. Pain, on the other hand, that's easy for me. Like I can deal with pain, physical pain, that's fine.
Yeah, well, we're transmuting and not focusing in that aspect.
Well, because with some people they might use sounds with certain, healing aspects. So in a spiritual sense, I guess it's still using sound, but it's through the mind.
For sure, for sure. All right, Philip. Well, thank you so much for that. We are going to go ahead and drop down to the Divine Alchemist and put the questions to him. Welcome in. Welcome up.
Yes, thank you. How you guys doing tonight? I love the lingo, spiritual triage. I tend to broaden my perspective through having lots of different applications of different variations of prayer, divination. I tend to call on my ancestors a lot, speak to them a lot. I'd like to think as myself as being real tapped into the spiritual realm, like being able to talk to past loved ones that have passed and call on them and ask for advice. But here recently, I've been trying to not be so reclusive when I'm tapping into my bag, when the spirits calling out for some triage or needing certain things, but music tends to help a lot, and just being out in nature. But I always tend to call out to my ancestors and my spirit guides. I love pouring up libations, doing certain rituals that kind of keep me grounded and focused on what's going on, like staying present in the now.
May I ask you, and beg your pardon for interrupting you, but with how much you're saying, I just felt maybe the space to ask you, are there any physical activities that you specifically do to also coincide with all that you were just listing?
Well, I try to hold space for everything, show respect for everything. Like just for example, in my room, got an altar. I got crystals on the altar. I make sure I keep fresh flowers on my altar, keep good smelling candles and sage to burn. I just try to hold respect for everything. But meditation, people might not like this answer, but I go back to scripture a lot. A lot of people don't, the whole dogma that's attached to religion. But I go back to my mind, the number one teacher that was in this realm was Yeshua. So I tend to pick up the Bible and revert back to scripture. That grounds me a lot. But really fasting, meditation, I love doing breathwork journeys and guided meditations. I've been really tapping into that a lot lately. It's just a lot of
the breath work for sure is kind of what I was looking for, was like the more breath work, yoga, tai chi, those departments. But yeah,
it's being able to discern, am I just like, do I need to work? Is it mental? Is it physical? Or is it spiritual? I think a lot is like they're all tied in together. My perspective, it's like I try to hone in on all three, but just being able to discern, do I need to watch what I'm eating right now, or am I not meditating? Am I not being mindful enough throughout the day? Or I try to, even like the breathwork journeys I go on, it's like you're trying to strengthen your mind. Like I call it your muscle, the muscle memory of the mind. Like, because when I go on breathwork journeys, I really like, I don't know if people like, I'm sure people work out in this live. Like if you go do chess one day, but like when I'm in deep mindful meditation and on breathwork, it's like my brain will feel like like I had a workout. Like I actually worked it out. Like I don't know if anybody else has experienced that. But just having the discernment and the reverence to know the fourth of all, like, am I doing too much? Am I going too hard on a certain aspect of this? It's just finding that balancing. Cause here lately, like since like I had my spiritual awakening or whatever, like 4 years ago, I've been like super hard on myself, like not hard, but just like really, I call it spiritual Olympics, like mind, body, and soul. Like not eating processed foods, trying to eat nothing but raw, live food. Like the past week, I started drinking pop again. I had a few cigarettes. I'm kind of starting to smoke cigarettes again, like doing things that I know is not the best for me, but I've been kind of letting myself indulge in some earthly things here this past few weeks. I don't know if it's like a collective thing, but just the energy here over this past month has been crazy with me. I've had a lot of ups, a lot of downs, like Chris was saying. But these lives help out a lot, like hopping in certain groups where I feel like-minded individuals where they could relate with experiences that you know what I'm saying, what's going on. But yeah, that's, to me,
Yeah,
that's
that's
my
definitely.
spiritual triage, is hopping on these lives and talking with people like you and just everybody on the panel. It seemed to be running into the same people in a lot of these rooms.
All
But I
right. Well,
encourage people, if you guys haven't done breathwork journeys, try it out.
do you have the time to stick with us through the next round? Because I actually, well, I need to. I'm gonna let Chris's crystals expand on his first round, and I need to actually answer myself. But the next round, I kind of want to get more into um, that aspect of it, like the activities, the things that we do, not just the things that we be, but like the things that we do in those assessments, like breath work, tapping, light therapy, all of that. So
Yeah.
giving awesome. Well, thank you so much, and go ahead and mute your mic and stick around. We will get to that the next round. All right, Roby, you go ahead and do your expansion.
Thank you. I just talked about patience and just kind of stumbled on and cut it off. Um, for me, like if we're gonna talk about like the steps that we've taken, I it's been a lot of different steps, a lot of shadow work, a lot of meditation, but a lot of molding my 3D day-to-day life to help my spiritual aspects of my life. So, for instance, in meditation, if I'm having these constant, what I quote, bad days from my perspective, it takes a lot longer in meditation for me to kind of shake that. But as I'm molding my day to day life into having what I consider creating healthy endorphins, that meditation sometimes doesn't even feel needed. It's nice to still continue the practice because then you're having growth and achieving other things. Um, so I think it's really important to take the steps within our triage of the 3D aspects and balancing with our spiritual life, and our growth in that. So, for instance, me, it's trying to achieve some type of early retirement so I can go and do the things that I want to do and travel while I still can, and you know, just finding those things that create those healthy endorphins. I do like what Divine Alchemist talked about. He resorts to scripture. It's finding the things that work for us that reflect on our lives. And that reflection, all reflections teach us lessons and they promote growth. So, and it's beautiful when we are able to find that because that's our keys. We all have different keys. Every key has a different notch. And we all have our own key. So that's it for now. Thank you.
That is epic, bro. Thank you for expanding on your first. And that's kind of the beauty of it, isn't it? The patience kind of showed through. Be patient with yourself too, you know. Sometimes it takes us a second to catch the flow, but when you surrender, and it flows when it flows. There's nothing wrong with that. There's been many times where I was flowing, and there's been times where others thought I was flowing. I was simply imparting advice from prior experience. It's just is what it is. You do what you do in the moments. So triage, to answer kind of myself on this topic. For me, it is acknowledging with my awareness that there is a hemorrhage and locating where that is, and then using the assessment of prior experience on how to resolve it. In that essence, I recognize that energy never dies. It just changes. It flows. And the cat needs to go out when the cat needs to go out, because she is very demanding. With that aspect, I always go back to my system of the cup and the saucer. And I recognize the four-body principle that, it's actually now changed to the five-body principle, but we'll continue on in that aspect. I don't just look at one thing anymore. I look at the overall collective and all the bodies, and I problem solve the quickest path and solution and healthiest way to bring those bodies into alignment. So that for me is the triage aspect. I do want to give the panel an opportunity if anyone has any questions for me directly. Flash your mic.
After getting the
I don't have a question, but I just wanted to say that I've been loving the artwork tonight. It's been amazing.
I knew your voice, and then I seen your name pop up in the comments, Fire Ash. I'm like, I knew that voice from somewhere. I forget whose lives we used to always be in together, but I haven't seen. I didn't know you did the Spiritual Talk 369.
Yeah, this is a joint family account. So I co-host with my man Vision and my spiritual fam, Chris Rabanus, Adio. Yeah, this is something we do every Sunday at 9 p.m. Is it Eastern Standard Time?
That's awesome. I'm gonna have to start looking for this. You said the time again. You said it's every Sunday.
Yep, every Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
All right, I'm gonna set the little notification for all. So every time you guys go live, I'll get a notification. But thanks for having me up, and thanks for being respectful and holding space and putting your time and energy into having this platform for people like us to just come and vibe out and feel accepted.
Yeah, man. So, for anyone who doesn't know, Spiritual Talk 369 does have a YouTube. We post these episodes on YouTube, and it's not an exact science right this moment because, of course, this is all volunteer work done by us. Yeah, so when it's able to get up there, we do keep them posted, though. So if you ever want to go back and just kind of review any of the ones that we did previously, they are up there for that, guys.
Divine Alchemist, I wanted to chime in and let you know that you are appreciated wherever you go. Your presence has always been a part of these spiritual lives that are occurring every day. And I see you, and I appreciate you, brother.
Thank you for the kind words and vision. I always feel like I'm part of the community, you know. I'm just kind of stepping out and being more vocal with, instead of just hanging out in the comments, requesting to come up. Normally I would decline all invitations to step up to the panel and speak. Something I'm trying to work through, you know. It might feel a little uncomfortable, but I guess that's when you're growing. But thanks for the kind words. I appreciate you.
Alright, guys. So we're going to go into this next round. I think that was all the questions, right? Yeah, okay. Looks like we're good. No mics are flashing. So we are going to go into the next round. And we're going to kind of discuss. I'm going to give you some angles, guys, because I don't like boxing people in, right? Those who know me know that that's just not my style. So I'm going to give you some angles here. What I want you to look at and kind of talk about is some systems that maybe you can point people towards that have helped you in advancement. Some systems that maybe even made you uncomfortable at first, but you found great growth in. Some actions that you do in your daily life, okay, that help mold your reality to match the vibration and frequency of your higher self, right? Because that's what we're doing here, is we are changing what was into what is and what will be. So I want to look at what ways are you molding your reality for the greater good. I can kind of go in and say that me, myself, my reality is melded with my partner's, and that we spend every available moment we can being aware. But I will wait my turn and go down the boxes in order, starting at the top, if you would please. My love.
I heard the please in the question. Keys to the kingdom. What are yours, in essence? The keys to my kingdom are mine, as they are yours. To your kingdom, to your dreamscape, to your way, to where you want to be, to who you are, to who you will be, as we are all ascending. My goodness, we are all ascending. It is a beautiful feeling to know that we are all ascending. There is no cheat code to this game. There is no way of using anyone's perspective to find yours. I go within, and it is a happy place. It is a beautiful place, a wondrous place of color, light, and sound. And I am everywhere and everything. What is the word? Specificity is needed at this juncture. Specificity. In a sense, you know what I'm talking about. We can generalize most of everything, most of every feeling that we have. And we must adhere to our role. We must adhere to our place. We must adhere to the love that we hold. Because as a brother has mentioned recently, there are vultures among us. And we are not to fear them. We are not to give them what they want. We know what they want. There are many losses that we feel across the world, across the oceans. And these keys to us finding our own peace are ours. They're yours. You are held in so much grace. But that grace does not define you. It does not keep you from being who you are. It is temporary. Because you must take those covers off. You must put those boots on. You must walk out that door. You must do it. And this karma will remind you of what you are not doing in a moment, in a flash, like a lightning bolt, like a star. You'll see it. You'll recognize it. You'll appreciate it. Or you won't. You'll just be affected by it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mother. And I couldn't save you on that word because I was tongue-tied and then I was laughing at myself trying to say it. And I just had to listen to you because I was stumbling so bad. All right, Chris, it is your turn, Roby.
Thank you. Thank you. By the way, I look very touching innovation. I love that, by the way. So, question was molding our reality to, what was it, for the greater good? I would have to say, doing my part by what Innovision said, go within. So, working on myself. In reality, if everyone just worked on themselves, they would all be doing that part for the greater good. All the actions of helping others just happens naturally after that when you're just flowing in that energy. Steps to take to do that work is it's changing the perspective. It's changing your perspective and the energy applied to the thoughts. So, for instance, things that I do is repetitive thought patterns on purpose, setting my intentions and purposely changing the thought patterns that I already have a good emotion attached to. So now I'm not having to necessarily change my emotions, but change my thoughts. And it's been working for a long time. And it's kind of how you apply in manifestation of what you seek is what you find. And throughout transmuting constantly of having to think about that, those patterns go to where it happens naturally. And then it eventually gets to the point where you're not even actually transmuting the energy anymore because that's just your natural patterns. And we're usually on to transmuting other things at that point. And that's where we get into organizing and, setting the goals. Once you really start going within yourself and figure out what we need to do. Usually at first that's trying to eliminate traumas, trying to transmute that energy, And then it goes on to other things because we want to continue in our ascension. So it goes into experiencing even other emotions and other energies that we've. The reason why I say emotions, because that energy is going to reflect into an emotion, and that's how we're going to physically feel it. But experiencing all these things, eventually, I mean, it gets into sometimes you don't experience anything, and sometimes that's the bliss. That used to be my what I considered nirvana. Is I had a place that I went to within my state of consciousness that I didn't feel anything. And as an empath, sometimes that's an amazing feeling. And it feels like peace. And that's something that I created for myself. And I still go there from time to time when I need balance. And it helps me, regulate. It's kind of like fasting pretty quickly on an energy level. So that's usually the answer to these is go within yourself. We're all different. So we all have so many different details of ways to work things out. That's why it really takes ourselves, and that's why when we get done, we realize that we actually did the healing through all the other guidance we had, whether it's physically or emotionally, mentally. We did it and we achieved it, and that's something to be extremely proud of. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Roby. I really appreciate that. Appreciate both of you. All right. Benny, if you would, please.
Okay. Yeah, I almost got lost in what Chris was saying. I was just resonated a lot. So thank you, Chris. So for me, kind of to build off what Chris was saying, right? So it's we're all talking about our brain, right? And we have there's energy and it flows. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. That's why we have to try to put effort into making our daily lives a little easier. So that requires finding things that work. So maybe it's recognizing something and not trying to do that. So at first it requires a lot of effort, and it becomes a little easier, and it becomes a habit, and it becomes just a behavior that you do automatically without realizing it. So it's the same thing with that. Like for me, when things come up, and they do, I find that music definitely helps. Even if I'm not in the best state of mind, or I might be having things that I might have absorbed things that I didn't really want, or feelings I really didn't want. And so music definitely helps me, either move that energy out and get me back into that state of mind, that peace that we want, right? Because that's what we want throughout our daily lives. We just want peace. We want to be able to exist and enjoy life for what it is and enjoy the present without having to worry about yesterday or thinking about tomorrow. Just being able to live outside and being able to smell the roses and see the beauty all around us. That's what we want, right? So we all try to understand the madness and the sadness with thoughts of gladness, loving kindness, and the awe. So to borrow a line from The Exorcist, step into the light, Carol Ann. Step into the light, Carol Ann. And it'll be all right.
That's epic, Benny. That's epic, Benny. Yeah, that assumption. All right. I think that's Rabanus, right? Yeah. Sorry, my eyes are a little squinty. There you go. Yep, Rabanus.
um, may I hear the question one more time, just so I can understand? I think I understand the question and what you're asking, but let me make sure. Hello. All right.
I'll
So,
say it. I'll say it. It's
okay.
molding our reality for the greater good.
Okay. Molding our reality for the greater good. Mm. Um, what I've come to understand is that learning energy signatures, like the different people around you, um, when, like as an empath, as all of us are pretty much, um, what kind of energies are coming at you? Where is it coming from? You know, also the you use that to, well, strengthen your own self first off, uh, and maybe perpetuate the light within inside of you. Like, it's the last couple of weeks, almost a month, has been hard on all of us. Been hard on me, I'll tell you that much. The energy fluctuations all over the place, you know. Oh, I was on the live early in the morning, and this poor lady, she's from Australia. She was trying to ease us into, like, stuff that we already know, spiritual. Now, I won't say enlightenment about, like, the awakening process and all that stuff. And I was like, okay, come on, we know this stuff already. But she was new, so, and I like kind of barked at her, and I was like, what the hell was that? You know, where did that come from? Where did that energy come from? And that's another thing too, finding out what is your own and what belongs to someone else. It's very helpful. And I've been learning a lot over the last couple of months, just about existing here on this planet and other people's perceptions of reality, and my own, and how to coincide that with other people's realities and their perceptions. I think that's it. No? Unless there's questions.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And thank you. I appreciate that. All right, Philip.
Hey guys. So just for people that don't know, something just quick about me. My wife and I, we have a lot of dogs. A lot meaning like 30. We live on a farm, we got lots of cattle as well. So horses, and been married over 10 years. So that's just a little bit of backstory to help understand where I'm coming from with my answer. I spend a lot of time with doggies, and that can be quite therapeutic. So yeah, that's one thing I do day to day. To, I guess, the joy that puppies bring to other families. That just thinking of that helps me get through the day to day. It isn't easy. It's 24 hours, 7 days a week kind of a job. So yeah. And it can be a little noisy sometimes. Sorry about the barking. And I just think I like the saying, just random acts of kindness. That's one thing I enjoy to do. So, see someone that, just putting a smile on someone else's face.
For sure, for sure. That's epic, Philip. Thank you. Alright, Divine Alchemist. The floor is yours.
Man, that's a deep question. I'm still, I look at it like, you got master, teacher, student. Some days I feel like I'm the master of this reality. Some days I feel like I'm a teacher, but here lately, a lot of times I'm feeling like a student. But I can relate with what Philip was saying. I got 5 dogs, and my dog Aurora, her birthday's tomorrow, and she just had an accidental litter of puppies with my cousin's husky. We got 4 puppies now that we're trying to get rid of, but we don't want to get rid of. It's kind of hard because I can relate to what Philip was saying about the dogs. They bring a lot of joy, a lot of happiness. But I try to be mindful on the things I'm trying to pull down in this reality. I focus a lot on family, and I was having a hard time with that in the beginning with, like kind of not pushing my inner beliefs. Maybe I was projecting them a little onto others, but it was coming from a place of love. I was just really being authentically myself because I rediscovered myself. I kind of came to the self-realization that I really never was like I've always had my same personality, but I've always been like a people pleaser and wanting to fit in with maybe the wrong crowds or the groups of people that I shouldn't have been hanging around. And it's brought me into a lot of trouble throughout my adulthood, running with the wrong people and being in certain situations maybe I shouldn't have been in. But it was always out of trying to fit in or trying to help somebody out or basically people pleasing. And like I said, some days I feel like it's like ups and downs. It's like the swinging of the pendulum, I call it. Like every man has his seasons, and I feel like I'm just trying to focus on maintaining consciously and mindfully in the now. And I do that a lot through playing with my dogs, being out in nature. We got a fire pit out back, and I can't never have enough wood because I'm always out there burning, starting fires, and chilling by the fire pit with my dogs. But I'm slowly learning you got to be mindful and conscious of the things that you're trying to pull down into this reality, if that makes sense. Because you could unconsciously and subconsciously like manifest some things into your reality that you're like, whoa, why am I Why am I going through this learning experience? Like, now I'm looking at it from maybe like an outside. I try to maintain all perspectives on all situations now. It's like I try to put myself in everybody, not just everybody's shoes and everything outside of myself. Like, I try to, am I being a good land bearer? Am I being respectful to the elements? Am I like on a, and it's starting to be more like, I just, before I was like, it was like subconsciously I was going through the notions of, man, what are these people going to think, or should I say this, or can I be myself around these people? But here recently, it's like I just surrendered to the universe. I don't know what you would call it, but I'm trying to walk in my truths daily and just spread love respectfully. But I'm learning that, you know, like, people relate to, some people are still sleeping, and it's like you can't wake everybody up. Some people got to wake up on their own and in their own time, because we're all on our own journeys. As much as I love, like, I tell this to my friends all the time, like, man, I love everybody. Like, I want everybody to experience the things I've experienced and tap into some of the unseen forces around them, you know, and just be mindful of it and respectful of certain things, you know. But you got to be mindful in doing that also, I've come to realize. But it's a balancing effect, that, because I'm, you know, I'm recovering addict, and I got an addictive personality, so sometimes I'll dive into stuff head first, and I'll go into it and like I'll be all about it, and like wanting to everybody to experience the stuff I'm doing. And I guess it's just, I don't know if it's the ADHD or the addictive personality, but it's just finding that balance, I guess, and just being mindful what you're trying to, I hate to use the word manifest because it gets thrown around so freely, but you got to be careful what you're trying to pull into your reality, like, respectfully, and you'll get to that point where it's just, I forget what somebody said, like, when time is just moving, or like you're not focused, like you're not trying to control the outcomes of things seem to happen faster for you. But that's my perspective on it, and I love that. It's such a deep question. I feel like I could sit here and talk for hours about it.
Well, I'm not rushing you off, but I would say that if you were to sum it up,
I feel
would
like
you bring it to that point of balance?
Yeah, I would love to say that everything's balancing out, but that's unrealistic in my, you know what I'm saying? it's like I said, it's like the swinging of the pendulum. You can't have, it's like a ditchiotomy. You're always going to have the flip side of that coin. But I feel like I'm already doing it, just being myself authentically every day. Like, all I got to do is be myself, and the universe is going to show up and do the rest. But I feel like
And
I
that's
feel
it,
like I'm
bro.
already,
That's it right there. How do you show up in your day? That's what I'm asking you. Be an authentic you. Like, what are some actions, just some examples of your day? Just a normal, practical, your day ways that you show up for yourself in that way with that awareness.
yeah. I start like, me and my wife, we got a thing hanging in the kitchen. It says coffee and Jesus, but she like is joking. I don't know. I've always been like not a religious person per se, more spiritual, because I've never been to church a day in my life. Um, but just I love starting my day reading Psalms with a hot cup of coffee, watching the sun, like sun gazing early in the morning. I love ending my day watching the sunset. But there's certain things, like it could be the smallest thing that grounds you into yourself and being present in the now. And it could be preparing a cup of coffee in the morning, listening to your favorite song at night to kind of settle back into reflecting on your day or what you're bringing to, we speak on it like the legacy you're leaving. And it's not like material objects per se. It's like, how are people are going to remember you? Like, if I wasn't to wake up tomorrow, my friends and family would say, man, Gino was a good guy. He was loving. He was always there for us. Even when he was struggling in his life, he always showed up. So I encourage people to show up for their friends and family and people that, it could be the smallest gesture of just asking how somebody's day is going, or giving a friend a phone call that you haven't talked to in a while. They might be going through some things, and just literally, they might not even answer, but just you calling them and them seeing that pop up on their phone, like, man, he's calling. That could go a far way with some people. But yeah, I try to self-reflect nightly before I rest. I try to keep a dream journal so I could kind of keep track of what's going on while I'm dreaming, or some people call it different things. But that helps me reflect, like, to remain mindful and focused on what I got going on in the present, and not, there's going to be a part of me that always wants to control the outcome or kind of expect what's coming into my future, like, but knowing that I don't, it's just like I'm going with the flow of things. I might veer off the road and go down this unwanted path that I wasn't expecting to go down, but if you remain mindful and focus on the now and staying in the present, I feel like that's not always a bad thing to do. That's a good question. I'm gonna ask a couple friends and family members. That's another thing I try to focus on, is my family. Even if it's because a lot of people I call family, we're not blood relatives, you know. Um, just
Yeah. We
you know,
know what you mean.
but just showing up for the people that have always showed up for me. And like I said, it could be as little as just a phone call, like, you know, or even a
Most
text
definitely.
message. Just reach out to the people that you know you love, and that because that's what my brother tells me all the time. He's like, you gotta love on God's people while they're here, because He might call them back home. You know what I'm saying? You never know, they might. So you gotta love on your people while they're here.
Heck yeah. Well, Divine Alchemist, we appreciate you. I know you can see it in the comments and from others up here on the panel that have already expressed it tonight. Like, we're grateful to have you up here with us.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you guys for sharing this space and taking your guys' time and energy to even. I know it's just a TikTok live in some people's point of view, but to some people, like, this is a lot of these places and spaces. I feel like I could truly be myself, even as like not. I'm because don't get me wrong, like feeling accepted. Everybody always wants to feel accepted. Like I always feel accepted, and I know my presence is always appreciated, and it's more than that. Like I really can't put the words on it. It's like I just appreciate you guys and thank you.
All right. So at this time, I want to see, are there any questions that the panel, the co-host, would like to flash your mic, Finny? Wait, hold on. Finny, did you have a comment or a question?
Actually, yeah, it was to Divine Alchemist, because when he was talking and you were speaking, you're basically telling what I've been through. So what I can say to you is the great thing about this journey is every day you wake up, you have a chance at a new beginning, right? So you said that you're not anymore. You're not what you were, right? Because you're a new creature, right? Every day you're born and you're a new person. So that's what I say. When you focus on the present and realize how far you've come, then you can appreciate this journey a little bit better, and you can realize where God was in your life and where He was working and helping you along the way. Because you were strong enough to beat something that not many people can walk away from. I know, I did it myself. So it takes a lot of strength to do that. And I give you a lot of credit for doing that. And you're going to be just fine because you're doing the work and you're on the path.
Yeah, for sure, Vinny. A lot of us have been through a lot of things in this lifetime. Some people, like me and one of my run friends, we talk about like New Earth and soul like soul contracts, and he's like, bro, you signed up for all this shit. You know that, right? Like we always are joking around. He's like, bro, why would you sign this into your soul contract, brother? Like, this is some tough stuff to go through, but I wouldn't change none of it. Cause a lot of the times it's about the destination, but people tend to forget the fun they have along the journey. Like, even in my darkest times, I've always found the lighter side of things, you know, like being in some pretty bad predicaments and being able to joke or find the lighter side of things and bring it out of other people around me. But yeah, thanks for sharing your thoughts on that, Vinny, brother. I appreciate you, man.
Of course, man. We're all reflections of each other, and that's what we do.
All right. So I appreciate y'all guys, and we're going to go to the co-host, and I want to see if y'all have a question, if any of the co-hosts have a question for the panel that you would like for all of the panel to answer based on this current topic. So I'm going to reflect that towards Vision, Chris's crystals, Urbanus.
I like how you specified that the current topic.
Yes.
I mean, I would like to maybe ask a question for everybody if they want to answer. Is through our spiritual journeys, we utilize tools. For instance, I'm Chris's crystals. So I've been collecting crystals for a long time. I utilized them as tools for a long time. I still do, but that has faded away into more of a natural thing for myself. So I'm just kind of want to see if those tools have evolved and changed through your triage and your plan of action, and which that changes. Everything evolves with our spirituality. Everything evolves to awareness. So if anybody wants to just add to that, and but that's the basic, or the basis of the question is tools that you've utilized, and have you evolved into different tools. Sometimes going back to that same practice even helps out. We don't ever get rid of anything. It's always in our back pocket when we need it. That's why it's a tool. But so anyways.
Yeah, for sure. Great question. I will respectfully go last and let it go down. Or wait, what I'll do is I'll take Chris's turn. How about that? So just go down the order. We'll go from Vision, then me, then Vinny, and keep going that way. My love, if you would please.
Greetings, beloveds. It is a tool that we must use. Yes. It's a tool that we must look for when we know what must be done. It's been said that there is a right tool for the right job. But these tools are often looked down upon as an encumbrance. Some may say, you need a screwdriver when what would be best is a pry bar. We all have these different tools that will get the same job done. I never take a tool for granted. These tools, such as crystals and divining rods or oracle cards, these tools of divination that we use to give us the answers or directions. They are all good. It's been said that these words of Scripture are given of God. And I would say that all words of Scripture are given of God. Does not need a title. For we are all in this together. And these tools that you use will only bring us together. In terms of triage, we see what hurts us. We feel the pain as we cannot forget it. And I would challenge you to do just that. Forget it. Forget the pain. There's much turmoil in this world. And know that they have signed the agreement just as you have, to be just that loss or gain for you. And in knowing that, it will, if you choose, empower you to become that which you have always been. Use these tools, these wrenches, these pliers, these drills to know what must be done to become that which must be. Manifestations or karma are happening in the blink of an eye. You blink, I blink. This is a world of duality. We have come to know the rules of engagement. We have come to know that which serves us and that which does not. We are not to point fingers. We are not to blame. We are to be accountable for everything we do. For it is what you do that matters. Whether or not you are confused is not for any of us to decide. As we come into this new age, as has been spoken of since 1958, we must be that which was hoped for, that which was prayed for, that which was fought for. And we may see those that have fallen, those innocent lives that are taken from us every day. We must know that we are all ready, agreed, or in agreement to what is to come. And those that are outside of us will always support us. They will always bring us to the underlying truth that you are not alone. You are loved. You are appreciated. As I have already forgotten the question and have gone into a tangent, I only seek to remind you to stay grounded in the truth of all things. First and foremost, you are alive. You are breathing. You're walking. You are talking. That is what you do. Let it be that we stand in truth and knowing that the blame game is of the old world. No one will stand before you. You are the only one that can be and make the difference in the world around you. That's where it starts. Not here in the cosmos. It is next door to you. It is where you go, what you do. triage. The triangle of this lifetime. Many think that they are not to return, and no, you will not. For we are ascending. And we are in remembrance. And we must let go of that which we were in order to become that which we are. Thank you.
Whew. Yeah, I feel that one, guys. So he of course, in fact, in his own authentic way, did answer the question, which was amazing. Way to go, Mr. Incredible. So, yeah, I have to follow that. And one of the newest, I guess you, well, not necessarily newest, but my most cherished tool that I cultivate with now is my connection with my divine counterpart. Everything that we do in our lives is working on that unity and synchronicity. And I won't go into vast detail because I'm just not that kind of person, but we had a moment earlier today where we synchronized a look of something without verbally communicating with each other what we were creating. And just the joy of that experience was something that's made me grateful for the day. So in essence, for me, currently in my life, it's really been releasing all that was and developing a completely new foundation and system together. And in essence, finding what our path is. So yeah, that's where I've been at with that one, Roby. And I first and foremost utilize this amazing, beautiful vessel that I'm in as my primary tool in this existence. Now, outside of that, I'm grateful for all of my tools and practicality and use. I would say lately keeping in like the understanding and the awareness, keeping my awareness, our awareness on what's happening energetically, and recognizing our responsibility to ourselves and reality to not use those big waves of massive energy shifts as an excuse to fall back into old patterns or routines, but to instead hold ourselves to that greater awareness, accountability, and prepare for them. So yeah, that's where I'm at with that. Much love.
I think it's on to Vinny.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure. Sorry. I was yet again listening to someone and really made me think there. Thank you. So basically, a lot of the tools, I have a lot of tools, and they're all helpful and they're all useful. And just like me, I'm growing and evolving, and these tools are getting better. And one of the tools that has been pointed out to me that I use very often is my voice, because it's powerful, it carries a lot of weight. And with that, the multi-tool that I use is writing, because that helps me, transmute any kind of energy into something beautiful, magical. And I use it often, and as I use it, it helps give me an understanding of where I'm going and who I'm becoming, and also helps other people understand things in a beautiful way. So, with that being said, I'll give you a poem that I wrote called Contemplating My Own Situation. Here goes. Contemplating this station, this destination to accelerating to the final destination of building exhilaration of the work of your own imagination. This beautiful transformation of your own situation is confirmation of the hard work of your magical creation. So break the chains of your own self-imposed limitations, escape the societal norms and mental incarceration. Drop all taught behaviors of this world's divisions and enslavement. Be the outcast and inspiration of how to live without the need for domination. Let the passion grow far beyond the point of moderation. Let love and joy achieve maximum penetration through man's current understanding and conversations. Melt away all stress and vexation. So let's identify the fungus in this crazy situation. Let's come together with love and unbreakable unification, transforming the world into a peaceful and loving unified nation, past all this hate and contemplation and destruction of one's mental identity and health, and ultimate devastation. So, as we've been through this new moon, which is a great portal and a great time to put into action what you want to see in the world, make this November a November to remember. And that's the message that I've been getting. So, peace, love, and light to everyone on this panel. I really enjoy these Sundays.
Woo, that was epic. Okay, that was epic. I'm so glad that that was on recording with the synchronicity of the chiming of the clock. And yeah, that was awesome. All right, Urbanus. Chris, can you poke Urbanus with a stick?
Are you there, Rabanus? Hello? Well, I guess I can take his turn. How about that? I talked about things that I used to use, like Is that okay?
Please.
Okay. So I talked about things that I'm taking your turn. You can go after me now. Sorry, buddy. I'm joking. But yeah, I used to, I still do. I utilize crystals for a lot of different things. But it used to be that kind of consumed my life. And sometimes, in my opinion, tools can also keep us from achieving other things through maybe too much attachment. That's just from my personal experience. So having to detach from that and do it on my own allowed me to be able to just that, to do it without the tools. I still utilize them, don't get me wrong. But my awareness is I utilize, just like Divine Alchemist said, these discussions. I'm led to come and listen. I'm an observer. That's what I've been doing my whole life. A voice is powerful, but for it can be powerful for others and very powerful for ourselves. But utilizing the 2 years we have, it's extremely powerful within. It teaches us so much just from observing others in comparison to ours, and not necessarily like judgment. Like I don't have judgment where that's right or wrong or good or bad. It just is, and I learn from those just as much as I would, actually more, in my opinion, from when I had judgment of, well, that's not the right way, or that's not the wrong way, or that is the wrong way. And it's primarily because you see all these different paths that achieve to the same goal, finish line, achievements, and it's amazing because we all do go through all these different trials and tribulations to achieve to where we are and have a better understanding of what that is as we go through it. And at the end, we're the ones that co-create and write this story of everything that you perceive and I perceive and we all perceive. And at the end, it's beautiful. There's a lot of things that we go through in between that we perceive to be different, but it all leads to love at the end, and however it is that you perceive that love to be. So in my opinion, that's where we reside, within that highest level of energy that is us. And that is still going to be a duality and still going to be a fractal of the divine. But when we look at the scale of the divine, that's us rising within that scale, that higher level of consciousness of the all. And it's just beautiful when you look at your lowest aspects you've ever went through, because there's so many positive aspects of those. You wouldn't be where you were if it wasn't for them. So utilizing tools are amazing. I agree with what Divine Alchemist said, as far as balance is almost impossible, and it's because technically everything naturally is at a constant equilibrium, which also means it's in and out of balance constantly. So balance is momentarily, and then there will be that next variable change that we will have to become accustomed to and adjust and grow and continue. So, alright, much love.
Much love. Rabanis, it's your turn, bro.
Okay. I don't really have a tool that I use other than my intuition, which I'm learning to trust more and more and more each day. I used to use tarot, divination, and it's maybe some technomancy once in a while. Yeah, because of my job. But I don't really. I don't think I have anything, truthfully, for this particular Q&A session. Oops.
No problem. I mean, I would say that you do, in essence, just because, for example, your background itself is providing a great example of a ancient tool that is still practically utilized in daily life now as a symbol. And there are people that wear it on jewelry, clothing, so
Yeah.
on and so forth.
Yeah. I'm glad to do that. Yeah, that's that's something that I guess we could speak about. I guess the deities, the pantheon in itself. You know, as I grow older, you tend to understand the fractal that you had with those deities, but then understand that you're whole and whole a part of God or the universal consciousness or creator, however you want to call it. And strengthening that. It's hard, especially for me, pagan. But it needs to be done. I need to remember who I was when I was younger and take what I know now and what I know then and put it together. But yeah, Egyptology, just the study of it, it is a great tool. It's a great conversation starter, and I have Horus, I have Ra, the all protection symbols. Sigil I have on my arm. So yeah, it's good stuff.
I have a
Yes,
question.
for sure.
I swear I hear like beings sometimes. Like my freaking place is haunted. Ghosts or aliens, the Anunnaki, they're checking up on me from time to time.
Can I ask a question, Rabanus?
Sure.
So, like, I know you astral project quite often, which are gifts. Don't get me wrong. Like, connections with the divine, those are gifts. I look at just being an empath a gift. It wasn't what I perceived at first, but it's perceived as a gift now. But I also utilize gifts as tools, meaning if I have set intentions and I'm utilizing my gifts, I'm also kind of utilizing them as a tool to get certain results.
Yeah,
So,
almost like a ritual. Yeah.
would you say that those gifts that you have, you utilize as tools to have a better understanding of your path itself, or even just clarification? Clarification just lets the mind free and doesn't create blockages.
Yeah, that is true. What I was going to say again was that just using those gifts, like your clairvoyance, clairvoyance, that you see the future a little bit, and just using that with intent, with an intent, literally creates a manifestation tunnel or just, a ritual in itself, you know. And yeah, and once you hone those abilities, you become, a little bit more and more than you were before. So there's that. I'm not sure if I answered the question.
Yeah, you definitely did. Thank you.
Epic. All right, Philip. You answered Chris's original question about the tools.
Philip has taken leave. Made us aware in the comments.
Oh, thank you, my love. Okay. All right, we'll go ahead and drop down to Divine Alchemist then.
Yeah, the tool bag it's gaining tools daily. I love crystals. I love burning candles. But the shaman side of me wants to, just knowing the proper application for plant-based medicines. And when to bring it out and how to go about using it properly, and the intentions you're setting. That's definitely in the spiritual tool bag. For me, anyways. And not being can't be afraid to surrender and embrace your spiritual side, like being out in nature, exploring, to me, that's when I feel the most free. Whether the map was mentioned is not known. The brownie did warn the 78-year-old city. Studying on things I like to study on. Alchemy and mysticism. But the old man dismissed Brownie's Ruth was determined to go into I love ancient Egypt. He brought up Ra and Horus and some of the pantheon of the Egyptian gods. But I would definitely have to say the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. That's definitely got to be one of your tools. Well, for me anyways, I always revert back to listening to it. Just listening to the Emerald Tablets of Thoth could open up a lot of different perspectives, to teach you how to astral project. But yeah, knowing when and the proper application to use them. Brutal Arizona summers in the Superstition Mountains. His remains aren't found until December. But yeah, And another big one is meditations. But like serious, deep meditations.
That skull was laid out very close alongside one of the main trails through the superstitions. Someone may have taken
Knowing the certain terminology and how to, like, how to cleanse your chakras and how to properly use crystals. Because a lot of people buy crystals and really don't even know. You know, they might do some research into it, but like how to clean your crystals. There's a lot of things people really don't think about. With the spiritual tool bag, yeah. I'm acquiring some new tools daily, I must say.
He shouldn't have advertised the fact that he had what he thought was a secret map.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, just like to. Oh, go ahead, Philip. Go ahead.
Hi. I just like to say I like to use my imagination a lot of the time. That really helps me. It's one thing that I've actually been able to develop as I've gotten older. When I was younger, it probably wasn't as much of a tool, but more of a thing to have fun. So, chilly. Sorry. It's kind of crowded at the moment. They're all inside because their mum just got home. But yeah, now I can use my imagination to actually look at possible outcomes of situations and circumstances. And yeah, the more broader I have aspect on situations, the less chance I get myself in trouble.
There you go. Chris said he loved it. All right.
Thanks, guys, again, because yeah, every Sunday I just said to my wife, this is my Sunday meditation. So yeah, it's like, you know, it's daytime here, so lots going on all the time, but you know, I'll be here next week.
Awesome. All right. So we are just going to first say thank you to everyone in the comments, everyone on the panel, everyone who's watched tonight collectively for your participation. It's been an awesome experience, and I'm glad we did it. This is our final round where we just allow the panelists to go through and make their closing statements. They could be talking about anything they have going on TikTok. They could be talking about any upcoming energetic events they know of. They could just simply be wishing you farewell. But it is their time to speak, and we will go down the list in order. Thank you, guys. My love, at your leisure.
My love, thank you. Really, you have inspired me to be here Although I don't necessarily know that my presence is needed. We are faced with so much uncertainty. That which is not certain. I've always said that the consistency of what we do is always defining who we are. And yet I hear so many cries for that which is certain. I have felt very upset this last week through this transition, through this gateway. I have felt upset, and that does not reflect on anything that anyone else is doing. It just reflects on what I'm doing or what I'm not. And I'm sure that that is reflected upon everyone. We must all clock in and clock out. We must all do what we must in order to survive. But we also know that we deserve so much more than just a survival through this world, this realm. We deserve to thrive. We deserve to be at peace and not worry about the do's or don'ts. Those who choose to tell you what you should do. We see the division played out before us. We see the lies that are told among us. And yet we still accept them. We allow them. Perhaps it's because of the empathy that we do not wish to share. The empathetic vision that we hold dear. We often find these times of social interaction a time to complain about things that we are not in control of, things that are just happening to us, things that are just happening around us. We complain about these and we allow that to be an agreement of others. We look for agreement in order to feel peace, in order to have peace of mind. And I have been in a position of allowance myself. Allowing myself to just tolerate that which is out of my control. Yes, it is out of my control. Nothing that I do would matter, and understanding that the awareness of this is so disheartening. Because nothing that I have done, nothing that I have been, will never become. The vision that I hold dear to my heart is being sang, it's being sung as a song around us. And you're all singing your verse. It is beautiful to see those thoughts, those inclinations come to surface. At the same time, all the time, this so-called time is changing. And you are changing. And yet we still feel this pressure to hold dear to what we already know, to what others have already told us. I would love to have a conversation with any one of you at any time that's so inclined, because we're not to perceive things through our own perspective. We are to add our verse to the song, our perspective. I thank you for your time and allowing me to be a part of your experience, as always.
Of course. Urbanus, what were you saying? We're doing final thoughts, man.
Oh no, I was gonna. For some reason, like Envision. Do you like anime? Like Dragon Ball Z? For some reason, I don't know. Kept popping up in my brain for some reason when you were talking. But yeah, my final thoughts. Um, Try to grow and learn from every day. From something, doesn't matter how minuscule you may think it is. do that. And you'll find yourself eating all the way to the Christ consciousness. No, but yeah, do that. It's good for you. Good for our souls. Always remain a student, even though we're all teachers.
Well, thank you, Rabbans. All right, go back up to Chris and go back down. Chris?
Yes, I was perfectly fine with that because I always go after in a vision and I never get time to actually process everything he's saying because it's beautiful, but it's always very deep and takes a little time sometimes. So I appreciate you in a vision, and I appreciate you, Rabanus. Appreciate everybody that comes to these lives, comes on the panel, joins in. We noticed there wasn't really at the time any slots open on Sundays, and we wanted to be able to create a safe place that's repetitive, that we can all come in and enjoy our company, but create growth, kind of get ready for the next week. You'll see that we talk about preparation a lot, and that's because awareness really takes a play into that. But I would say my final thoughts for tonight is we're all, we're all on our own path, and utilizing anything it's always good to have an open mind and to try different things. So for instance, as Divine Alchemist is saying, he's always putting new tools into his tool bag, and that's the best way to look at things, because everything out there is really happening for us, not against us. And every problem has a solution. So conquering those problems, creating the solutions, creating the change within ourselves to create the outcome in our surroundings. It's much easier said and done, of course, but the more we do it, the more it just happens naturally. That's really my final thoughts for tonight, is just whatever you're seeking, don't give up. It's going to come to you. Just keep seeking it, and it will. So, some things we manifest are a lot harder to manifest than others. So give yourself grace, because a lot of times when we are the hardest on ourselves, it can help us move, but it can also create blockages within ourselves. It can create lots of different things, natural defense mechanisms. Like, it's just lots of things that our minds create. Sorry, it's raining here, some thunder, but it's been a good live. I appreciate everybody, and much love, and we'll see you here next Sunday.
Which you're hosting, correct?
Yes, I'll host next Sunday. Confirmation.
Okay, cool. All right, Benny.
Okay, and before I go on my final point here, I just want to thank everybody, because this live every Sunday is a way for me to anchor in what has happened in the previous week and what is going to take place in the current week. So I appreciate this, and I'll say this: we're all the heroes we need and wanted. We have the blueprints of the future to help those that are not equipped for the self-realization. We made it where many have failed. We kept going on our path to unity through spaces and experiences and connections and lives like this. So give yourself a pat on the back. You did it. Till next week, peace, balance, love, and light. I send you waves of abundance and understanding. This has been an amazing experience. I love every one of you.
Beautiful, very beautiful. Philip?
Thank you for holding the space, everyone, all the hosts and guests. And I guess one thing I thought of when I was on the streets, I gave myself a saying to greet each day with a smile, each new day with a smile, because every day is a new day. So, yeah. Dog scratching and dog wagging a tail. Yeah, so my wife had to take a dog today to the vet. She's having troubles having her puppies, so she's gone into surgery. And, it's life is, I guess, what you make of it. So I like to stay positive. And if, I guess, like Divine said, in the morning he has coffee and Jesus, I think he said, something similar. Coffee in the Bible, or reading positive affirmations and stuff. But yeah, just being thankful for that new day puts me in a positive mood. So yeah, guess we all have a different kind of something to appreciate. I just look at it as a appreciation of life itself, I guess. So yeah, it's great each new day with a smile. And keep joining lives like this to, grow and find like-minded people that want to just actually grow mentally, spiritually. Yeah, that's all. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Philip. We appreciate you, bro. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Divine Alchemist.
Yeah, I feel the same as everybody else. I got this saying I say to people is honor your muse, whatever that might be. Some people like music. It don't matter what it is. Honor your muse. Live, love, and evolve. And try not to be a dick while you're doing it. try to be mindful of the people around you. In the past, I've not been too mindful or really cared about other people's feelings. It's something I'm trying to do now, is be mindful of how other people are feeling and be respectful, have a little reverence. Because you never know what some people are going through. But yeah, I just encourage everybody to honor their muse and walk in your truths daily, whatever they might be. Like Philip said, I like to my coffee in the morning with some scripture or some positive affirmations. But yeah, I just like to say thanks to everybody giving their point of view and allowing me to share tonight. But that's all I got.
Brother, we know that's not all you got.
Yeah. I'm sitting here loving on my dog Aurora. She turns 2 tomorrow. She's an American bully. Just bringing that up because Philip had said something about one of his dogs. She just had to have emergency C-section 5 weeks ago. She had an accidental litter with my cousin David's huskies, his husky buddy. So now we got 4 little puppies. I just gave them their shots yesterday. I've been finding a lot of joy with playing with these puppies, and I'm staying with my family right now, so trying to spend time with them and helping out with my little nephew and trying to help my aunt and my cousin out until, you know, I encourage everybody to love on your people, man, and express how you're feeling, even if it does put you in a vulnerable position. You know, some people don't I don't really want to say, I hate using the cliche words like programming and, you know, some people just, they wasn't taught, or it wasn't like to show affection to your loved ones, you know what I'm saying? It really wasn't. Well, speaking on personal experience, no, it really wasn't. In my family, it wasn't expressed too much. But that's something I encourage everybody to do, is reach out to your loved ones, your friends and family. Spend some time with them. Tell them how you feel. Give them some encouraging words. Because that's what I feel like. I said it once, but you gotta live, love, and evolve. And just try to remain in the present.
For sure, brother. I would encourage you not to do anything that which you hate. This is of the old world. For when we subside, when we give ourselves way to that hate, and we still do it, we carry that baggage. We pick that bag up. We hold it to be a part of us, and that is no longer a part of us, that which we hate. So I would say, instead of hating what we don't do what you want to do what you love to do, and carry that bag, pick that bag up. Leave that other bag alone. Put it away. If you can't do that, throw it away. That's probably the best thing to do with that hate. There are certain words that we must not take with us into this new age. For this new age is already here. It's already upon us. We are already aware of it. And we are prime. Thank you.
Please stay. It is the end game show where I would typically say my piece, but I would love for you to join me. My darling, if you would please. Baby.
I'm here. My love.
So, something that we've been doing together is understanding how to actually communicate with each other in such a way as to not say, well, you shouldn't do this or you shouldn't do that. It's something that we went through understanding certain aspects and charts at the beginning, and then finding deeper understanding as we went along, and then finding the remembrance in it all. So ultimately, this is not something that is a single-handed thing anymore for me. And I'm grateful for that.
As am I. These words that were used so commonly depends on one thing only. It is what you will and what you won't. We've come to know that there is no right or wrong. It is only what you do. And understanding the consequence of what you do. And consequence is not a bad thing, it is also a good thing. It's just a word of understanding, a word of adhering to the divine order of things. we've all come to understand the laws of the universe, the laws of karma, the natural law, the solar law. If you have not come to an awareness of these things in your daily action, your daily adherence, these are all divine. They all are. You are your own God, in truth. Do not hold yourself back from what you are.
Let's see. Of love and appreciation, that is that. Thank you, guys.
Much love.
With gratitude, you are all loved and freed of confirmations of limitation.
Most definitely. And if you're wondering what I'm doing next week, I am completely deconstructing all prior systems and programming and, well, completely restructuring them.
The restructuring of the subconscious.
Come on, come to the subconscious. Come. It is open.
There is a question. I don't mind giving another moment or two for you to answer it if you would like to.
Generator, operator, destroyer. We are all gods in our own right.
I would say the action of you was unclear. Perhaps a specific. In other words, I don't know who that direction of that question was to.
At Innovision, can you elaborate on "You Are Your Own God" from Samina? My darling.
Sister, thank you. Oftentimes, we get convoluted with information from outside of us that want us to believe that our God is something that we all must agree to. We all must confide in. We all must give reverence to it. When, if you have the courage to see that you are not alone, and yet you are, and accept this as your reality, and give reverence to everything that you have ever been, and those who know of your presence. And to accept the consequence of who you have become. And knowing that it doesn't matter. And at the same time, it matters. That our God is your God. It is you. This takes much courage, and it takes much of our own sacrifice, as it's been written. Do not hold yourself back by the words in these books. Only open your awareness to that which is unspoken. That's what I would say to that. Thank you, sister. Samarina. I'll need to pronounce that correctly. Thank you.
Oh my goodness. That's it. Much love.